Trump was, he did an interview with some radio show or something. I'm not sure. This is the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton show. So this is Clay Travis and Buck Sexton. They got Donald Trump on their show. And Donald Trump said some words about Putin and the situation with Russia and Ukraine. And I want to tap into that real quick.
Country and put them together. I don't think they've done the damage that this administration has done.
We're talking about the wall here. Hold up.
Screened, and I said, this is genius. Putin declares
a
big countries, 127 countries now they have, but many of these countries are emptying their prisons like we're a dumping ground right into our country. I've never seen anything like it. I don't think our country has ever been so low. You could take the 5 worst presidents in the history of our country and put them together. I don't think they've done the damage that this administration has done.
Mr. President, in the last 24 hours...
Okay, so here he was asked about Russia and Ukraine, and he makes some very interesting comments about Vladimir Putin. Now, obviously, we know at this point, it's pretty much common knowledge that Donald Trump is a Russian asset. Let's be real here. I mean, let's be honest. Let's be honest, folks. I don't know. Let's be... Okay. The idea that Donald Trump is not a Russian asset to me is hilarious. But in order for this to be a statement of fact here, we need to define what a Russian asset is. It's very simple. Does that mean like Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin are meeting in the back rooms every 15th Sunday and smoking cigars and planning on taking over the world? No. But what that means is Putin feels like he controls Donald Trump and that Donald Trump will do what he wants. And that's pretty much, I feel like that's been evident by a lot of this, a lot of what Trump has been doing, especially because he's got significant business dealings in Russia with Russian oligarchs. We also still very curious as to what Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin were talking about in their secret meetings, where Donald Trump told the translators to tear up the notes for their secret meetings. So I'm very curious about that. There's a lot I'm very curious about, but I think it's fair. I think it's very fair to say that Donald Trump is a Russian asset. Does that mean he supports Russia unequivocally 100% of the time? No, but that means as far as the chessboard is concerned, pieces on the chessboard, I feel like Putin has Trump pretty much wrapped up within his hands, and I think that that's fair to say. But so here's Donald Trump talking about Putin's maneuvers when it comes to Ukraine. So let's listen. Again, this is on the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton show.
As we know, Russia has said that they are recognizing 2 breakaway regions of Ukraine. And now this White House is stating that this is an invasion. That's a strong word. What went wrong here? What has the current occupant of the Oval Office done that he could have done differently?
Well, what went wrong was a rigged election. And what went wrong...
Folks, I would like to remind everyone that Donald Trump lost the 2020 election. Joe Biden won the 2020 election, and that is why Joe Biden is president. He won the election. Donald Trump is a loser. He's a crybaby. He's a loser, and he will always be a loser, and he lost. So factor that into what he's about to say.
It's a candidate that shouldn't be there and a man that has no concept of what he's doing. I went in yesterday, and there was a television screen, and I said, this is genius.
Okay, so I wanted the storytelling of Donald Trump. Quote, I went in yesterday and there was a television screen. I might need to clip that as well. That's honestly really funny. I went in yesterday and there was a television screen. Okay.
Rigged election, and what went wrong is a candidate that shouldn't be there and a man that has no concept of what he's doing.
Again, folks, Donald Trump lost the 2020 election. The election was not rigged. That is fake news, as they would say. But again, so Donald Trump went in, and then when he went in, where he went in, we don't know. All we know is that when he went in, there was a television screen. So.
I went in yesterday and there was a television screen, and I said, this is genius. Putin.
So I'm sorry. I'm addicted to the cringe. Okay. Yesterday I went in and there was a television screen and I said, "This is genius." I'm like stripped of the context. That's amazing, right? Like I'm sorry.
Screen and I said, "This is genius."
I'm sorry. Please just bear with me.
Be there, and a man that has no concept of what he's doing. I went in yesterday and there was a television screen and I said, "This is genius."
I gotta clip that. Oh, okay. All right.
Putin declares a big portion of the Ukraine. Putin declares it as independent. Oh, that's wonderful. So Putin is now saying it's independent, a large section of Ukraine. I said, how smart is that? And he's going to go in and be a peacekeeper. That's the strongest peace force. We could use that on our southern border. That's the strongest peace force I've ever seen. There were more army tanks than I've ever seen. They're going to keep peace all right.
I love how Donald Trump is like, why is this? This is something that I feel like it's weird that Donald Trump is saying this on a podcast that's public. Like why would you ever say this out loud? I mean, like, yes, it's great strategy. Like if we're playing fucking like Civilization or something, we're playing like a real-time fucking strategy game. Yeah, it's great fucking strategy, but it's also imperialist warmongering garbage. And also, we should do that on our southern border. Is he advocating to invade Mexico? Like, what the fuck? This guy is off his rocker. But again, so I'm going to start from the top here. So he went in. Where he went in, not sure. But he went in, and then saw a television screen.
A big portion declares it.
Hold up. Oh, no. We're getting that infinite buffering bullshit.
Has no concept of what he's doing. I went in yesterday and there was a television screen and I said, this is genius. Putin declares a big portion of the Ukraine. Putin declares it as independent. Oh, that's wonderful. So Putin is now saying it's independent, a large section of Ukraine. I said, how smart is that? And he's going to go in and be a peacekeeper. That's the strongest peace force. We could use that on our southern border. That's the strongest peace force I've ever seen. There were more army tanks than I've ever seen. They're going to keep peace all right. No, but think of it. Here's a guy who's very savvy. I know him very well, very, very well. By the way, this never would have happened with us. Had I been in office, not even thinkable. This would never have happened. But here's a guy that says, I'm going to declare a big portion of Ukraine independent. He used the word independent. And we're going to go out and we're going to go in and we're going to help keep peace. You got to say that's pretty savvy. And you know what the response was from Biden? There was no response.
Oh, no.
We didn't have one for that.
Folks, I can't with this. This part here, I clipped this part because this is the part that I heard earlier. Why does he say it like that? There was no response. Like he sounds like a fucking cartoon.
What the response was from Biden? There was no response.
What?
We didn't have one for that. No, it's very sad. Very sad.
Do you think the southern border is just going to...
So Donald Trump here. Now, again, there's a lot of cringe in this interview, and maybe I'll look at more of the cringe tomorrow. But I wanted to talk about his statement on Putin. Yeah, sure, is it savvy? If you're playing like a real-time strategy game, and it's like you're playing fucking, whatever... and the whole point of a real-time strategy game is it's imperialism, but fun because it's a video game and war doesn't kill real people. It kills video game people that don't actually exist. Right. And so, but here we have a situation where, again, this is a former president basically endorsing, another enemy superpower, regardless of whether or not you think Russia and the United States should be enemies. Personally, I think the idea of war is dumb. I think borders are stupid. The idea of invading someone, how is that even possible? Oh, you're in their border. What's a border? I don't know. The whole thing is just made up garbage. It's a way for a bunch of actual grown adults to, instead of playing video games, right, like a normal person, they play video games, except they kill regular people for fun and entertainment. It's just the modern version of the gladiator bullshit where you throw someone in a fucking den of lions, right? It's, a bunch of toxic, fucking angry white men yelling at each other and using guns and tanks and nuclear bombs instead of playing Halo like real men. But anyway, again, very strange, though, for a former president to be endorsing the strategy of an enemy of the country. Now, again, like, you can make your own value judgment on whether or not Russia should be an enemy. I would probably agree more than disagree on that. But again, either way, he's basically saying, yeah, they did a really good job. Also, it wouldn't have happened if I were there. Huh. Why is that, though? Why wouldn't it have happened? I don't know. That's strange. He doesn't go in on that. But again, I think it's very interesting that the former president is endorsing like the imperialistic invasion of another country by Russia and Vladimir Putin. Very strange. Very, 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 very strange behavior. Again, this is on the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton show. They did about a 30-minute interview with Mr. Trump. There was no response. I'm like, what is that? Like, I'm sorry, but like, what the fuck? Like, what is that?
There was no response.
Oh, what the hell? Adversary is a better word, possibly. That's fair. That's a fair critique.